Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be drawing the red deer stag. Baby deer is called a calf. The adult female one is called a hind, and the adult male one is called a stag. And that is what we will be drawing today, so that we can add some antlers. So we are going to be starting with its trunk. When we draw, it's really best if we avoid just drawing outside of the body, and instead we will be drawing it from the middle going out and be forming the shapes just like beeswax. So we are going to be starting with its trunk and making a shape that's sort of like a bean. So look closely. It's like a bean shape. This will be the start of its trunk. The spine curves a little bit over here, and you can expand a little bit towards the back. Shade in from the inside instead of just drawing an outline. Okay, this is very important so that your drawings look nice, almost like paintings. So here I'm drawing sort of circular shapes on either side of the bean, and this is its hip over here, the hip. It's sort of like a soft triangle shape. It's a triangle but with soft edges, or an oval, I guess. But it's bigger here at the top, and it gets smaller here at the bottom. Do you see? It's like a hip. And over here in the front is where his front legs will go. And doing this sort of gives you some shadows as well. Alright, now after the trunk, we're going to be drawing its head. Later, we will be connecting it with its neck, but we will start with its head, and this deer is facing towards us. The shape of the stag's face is like an upside down triangle, but please make sure not to just make a very angular triangle, because that's not how nature works. Usually there are very round corners, so it will be the same with this shape. So we are going to be making sort of a triangular shape, maybe a bit narrower. We can make it longer here. So if you draw like this, then you will be able to sort of change the shape of things as you go. Alright, now of course we will be adding his ears. And at first they look a bit like horns going off to the side, from the sides, from the corners of the triangle. And then there's like a curved line under them. Now we are going to be connecting its neck. We are starting with the straight line at the spine, and then going down to connect the lower part. But here actually, especially as the deer grows older, there will be a bit of a pouch, just like there will be a pouch in the tummy. And there's a bit of a soft part here that you can add. Okay? Now we are going to be adding the front legs, and they will be coming down at an angle, sort of moving forward. So you're going to be making the first bone, and then the second bone will be a bit thinner. And just like we discussed yesterday, the hoofs will be a bit forward, as if they're wearing shoes, as if they're wearing heels. Okay, later on we will darken the tips. And you can draw another one, because of course you have two pairs of legs. Then you can soften the edges a bit. Then you can fatten them up a bit here as well, because of course they're a lot stockier than this. This looks a bit thin, but we want our stag to be stronger. You can make the hip a bit farther. And then make a short tail. They don't have very long tails. And then we are going to draw the hind leg. Now the hind leg moves back a little bit more, extending from this hip over here before it curves forward, and then forward for the hoof. And so the second one you can hide here, going back a bit and going forward and going forward again. And that's the main shape of our deer. You can change the color into the color of its antlers. You can pick a more reddish brown. I'm picking a more dark brown. And I'm going to be drawing some nubs first before I grow the antlers. So this deer is a few years old already. The main stalk of its antlers will be pointing out and then in. And then we will be showing his age a bit here. The tips have sort of little branches, a little lower than the top. And then his antlers is and then the lower branches will be coming here, and the bottom perhaps here. Alright, so it looks like he's a few years old, right? Now you can use the same crayon to shade your deer. You can shade under the belly. You can shade the legs that are farther at the back, the ones that are behind. So there's the ones that are in the front, and then there's the ones that are behind. You can let its chest hide part of the leg and then start under the chest. You can also make some patterns and its body. Some of them have some dark fur in some places of their body. Around the neck here I'm going to add. And of course the snout, their noses. And they have quite beautiful eyes, and they're a bit off to the side. Not really in the front of their face. Okay. Maybe we can round this back a little bit more. And then we can darken the tips of the hoofs. Now their hoofs have two sides, but of course because the deer is sideways, and that won't really show in your drawing. But because after you draw, so make sure they're sharp like this, you're actually going to be writing on your drawing. So you can talk about how there are two sides of their hooves. Alright, so before you do the next step, I want you to write down the details about the antlers, so what you learned yesterday about their antlers and what you learned about their hoofs as well. Okay, so you can put the title also, the red deer, and then you can put the details here and here. After you do that, then you can add the colors of the background. So there would be text here for me later, and then the grass will go around the text so that it will be highlighted by the white. And in the background, I'm going to be showing some trees. Maybe there's a forest in the background. I'm leaving this space here blank, and I'm going to add the sky around it. And there is our drawing for today.